This episode is made possible by our sponsor, Omega Bright Wellness. I've taken their omega-3 supplements for many years, and so has my wife, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. I'm proud to have them. You can find all of their products online at omegabrightwellness.com, and bright is intentionally misspelled B-R-I-T-E, omegabrightwellness.com. This episode is also sponsored by Landmark College, another institution that I have warm personal relationship with in Putney, Vermont. It's the college of choice for students who learn differently. Learn more at lcdistraction.org. Hello and welcome to Distraction. I'm your host, Dr. Ned Hallowell. Thank you for joining me today for a mini episode. People love the mini episodes because they're quick, they're short, and that's the world we live in. Quick and short and to the point. We received a question from a listener that I think many of our listeners will be able to relate to, so I wanted to share it with you. It goes like this. Hi there, Distraction team. Smile. Wanted to get advice on having lots of ideas. I wake up and meditate most mornings, so even if I get my mind quieted, it can still get racing and come up with lots and lots of good ideas. I write them down, but there are just so many that I end up feeling bad about not pursuing most of them, or they lead to the feeling of never achieving enough. I obviously need more self-acceptance, but any advice on how to best approach tackling large amounts of ideas and things to do? I use the Tick app and it's great, but still doesn't help with the output of my brain. Love the podcast, Kieran. Well, Kieran, thank you very much for that note. And what you describe is the blessing and the curse of ADHD. The great thing about it is we have so much going on, and the curse about it is we have so much going on. Our brains I often compare to a popcorn machine, just pop, 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 ideas popping all the time. They come in bunches like bananas. We're just surrounded by all these bananas, all these popped popcorns. Whatever analogy you want to use, we have an abundance of ideas. And you have to be grateful because contrast that to people who have what I call attention surplus disorder. They almost never have a new idea. They come by and see you surrounded by all these bananas and popcorn and they say, oh my gosh, where did all those come from? I never have any of those. I have no bananas and no popcorn. And they just never or rarely have a new idea. And you say to them, fine, take them, please. I've got too many of them. I don't know what to do with them. So that's one solution, is to share them with other people who need them and, get a team of people to implement your ideas and, share the credit for them. If you grow my idea, I'll share it with you. And so, because often that's those folks, the ones who can't come up with new ideas, are good at growing them. They're good at taking them and developing them and turning them into a business or turning them into a piece of art or turning them into a new line of clothing or turning them into a well-tilled garden. Whatever the project might happen to be, if you can find someone who's good sweating details with attention surplus disorder, you and that person can make an excellent team. They can take your new ideas, sort through them, and they're good at prioritizing while you're not. You can dump, 25 ideas on them, and they'll pick out the one or two that stand the best chance of succeeding, and then they'll get to work on it. And you can just keep up, more bananas and more popcorn and just keep feeding your good attention surplus partner, your ideas. That's a really good recipe for success. Most of the successful adults I know who have ADD have someone, an admin assistant, a partner, a mate, a favored employee, somebody who's the chief implementer, the one who makes things happen and gets things done. And so, that's a really good team. As for you yourself, you've hit upon a very good strategy, which is writing things down. And once they're written down, they don't disappear. So even if you say, God, I had a great idea. What was it? Well, you can say, well, I'll just look at my little journal where I keep my ideas in, my idea bin, and I'll be able to retrieve it. Be grateful that you have this copious, fertile, fecund imagination. Be grateful. But at the same time, understand that you can't do everything. Don't become the victim of your own enthusiasm. Nobody can do everything. Nobody is obliged to do all that they could do. Just do enough to keep yourself satisfied and in the game, as I like to say. A great life is staying in the game until your life is over. The victories and the defeats will happen. They're part of the game. But the definition of a great life, I think, is finding a game you love to play and then playing it until you can play it no more. That's my answer to your question, Kieran. I hope it makes sense to you. I hope the rest of you will send us your questions and ideas, because we really love to get them. Keep listening after this episode for a new paid feature from our sponsor, Omega Bright Wellness. Dr. Carol Locke, the company's founder, will share some key information about how omega-3s, CBD, and other supplements can help with issues like anxiety, inflammation, depression, and a host of other issues. Remember to reach out to us with your questions, thoughts, and show ideas. Send an email or voice memo to connect@distractionpodcast.com. And check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're trying to build a new presence there, so please help us do that. Distraction is created by Sounds Great Media. Our producer is Sarah Guertin, and our recording engineer and editor is Scott Persson with 2 S's. I am Dr. Ned Hallowell. Goodbye for now.
This is Dr. Carol Locke, and I am here with 5 ways to reduce stress. It's going to be a tough week that we're facing with the election on top of everything else. So here are 5 easy things that you can do to reduce stress and get through any tough time. Number 1 is get up and move. Moving is so important. It activates the brain and it releases BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which increases our brain's ability to connect to new learning, to neuroplasticity, reduces depression, anxiety, and increases your resilience. Number 2 is compassionate mindfulness. This is an exercise where you close your eyes and then you imagine someone that you have a very positive relationship with. And then you imagine you're sending goodwill, good wishes to help them through some difficult obstacle in their life. We know from research done at University of Wisconsin that increasing our ability to have compassion, feel compassion and caring, increases our overall sense of well-being and positivity. Number 3 is limit social media. How can you do that? Well, if you're on Twitter all the time, you can take Twitter off your phone. This will make you have to go to your computer to check, and you can set a time that you need to check. If you're just checking other social media, you can set a time each day that you'll check in with social media and the news and check out. Number 4 is laughter. Laughing is super important. It increases the blood flow to your brain, relaxes your body, and causes the release of oxytocin, the feel-good hormone that gives you a tremendous sense of well-being. So schedule a time to laugh every day. Number 5 is you can take a supplement called Omega Bright. Omega Bright is an omega-3 high EPA supplement that I developed while I was on the faculty at Harvard Medical School. Omega Bright has been shown to reduce anxiety by 20% in healthy adults in a double-blind, placebo-controlled trial by Ohio State. So this is an important way that you can add health and reduce your anxiety, reduce your stress every day by simply taking Omega Bright. If you'd like to learn more about these 5 ways of reducing stress or about the study on Omega Bright by Ohio State, you can go to our website at omegabrightwellness.com/reduce stress. That's OMEGABRITE wellness.com/reduce stress. This is Dr. Carol Locke. Stay safe, stay well.
The episode you just heard was made possible by my good friends at Omega Bright Wellness. I take their supplements every day, and that's why I invited them to sponsor my podcast. Shop online at Omega Bright, and that's BRITE wellness.com.